Here's a little Bowsie. Here's a little Bowsie. Hi. Hi. There we go, see? Yeah. We like to do that a lot. We'll gape at each other. We'll do that. Quite often we'll do that back and forth when I know that she's in a good mood. Yeah. Alright, well, that out of the way, it's time for another episode of Bowsie's Vlogs. And today I'm going to answer the question that I get a lot of, and I see a lot of. Why is my bearded dragon so hyper? Why is it running around in its terrarium? If I let it out, then it calms down, then I put it back and it runs around some more, and then it never calms down. What do I do? Well, the only thing you can do really is just let them play it out. Bearded dragons are very hypertentious creatures. By saying that, they will have spurts where they will do a lot of what we call glass surfing. And what they will do, I guess Bowsie wants to come up and cuddle. Okay, Bowsie, cuddle with Daddy. What they will do is they will start clawing at the glass. They will start running back and forth in their terrariums. They will jump around. They will leap around and just do this with their glass, scratch at it, claw at it, trying to climb up out of it. That is all perfectly normal behavior. Every bearded dragon does it. Chances are they have finished with their brumation cycle and they have a lot of energy stored up that they want to just get out there. And the only way that they know how to do it is to run around frantically to burn off all that extra energy. You'll notice that when they come out of their terrariums, a lot of the times they'll just cling to you and they will fall right asleep. That's a normal thing too, but not to be confused with why they glass surf. It's not necessarily always going to mean that they need to come out. I mean, it's a good idea to let them out when they do this, but just be warned, they might be just as hyper on the outside as they are on the inside. But you can actually curtail the hypertensity of your bearded dragon by holding them to you. And if you're an experienced owner, and if you've spent a lot of time with your bearded dragon, usually when you hold them to you, they will calm down. Another method to do is like I told you in video number 1, where you hold your bearded dragon up like this in prayer, and like between your hands you have your bearded dragon, and you gently, carefully start leaning them toward on their back. And they really don't like being on their backs, and it's not really a natural form for them to be in, a normal position to be in, but it does calm them down a bit, and it does let them know that you are in control, and when you say no, that means no. It's not really that bad of a punishment either. It's just basically a method to sort of get your bearded dragons to calm down. And I've had to do this with Bowsie a few occasions. But letting them run around and play, they're getting great exercise. You know, if you have a leash and a harness, put that on them and take them outside if it's warm weather enough. If it's not warm enough, take them around the house. You know, take them through areas of the house they're not supposed to go. Just make sure they're on that harness and leash, and make sure it's on there good and tight enough to where they won't escape it. But other than that, bearded dragons will have a few days of which they glass surf. So if they glass surf one day, you go to put them back, they're going to do glass surfing again. Toward the night, they're going to be tuckered out, they're going to want to sleep. Since they keep normal hours, they wake up in the morning, they go to bed at night. During the night, you don't have to worry about them being hyperactive unless something really bothering them. If something's really bothering them, they may be suffering in a way, they might be feeling or experiencing any pain. Always best to look them over, notice any telltale signs of any injuries, look for limping, look for missing limbs, missing fingers, toes, missing tail portions, look for cuts and nicks, look for blood stains, look for loose scales. Look for anything that might be a little out of the ordinary that you might find on your bearded dragon. Also look for broken limbs, broken bones, broken tail. Also look for parasites. If they have parasites on them, then they will tend to be a little more hyper in trying to get them off. Or they'll just sit there and let them bite them until nothing, you know, until they're reduced to nothing. Actually, that latter is easily avoidable. If you have a parasitic problem with your bearded dragon contracting a lot of parasites, there's one real easy solution. and that's to give them a very warm bath. Make sure that they are bathed regularly, and until you don't see any more parasites, that's what you may have to do. If you notice a lot of parasites and you give them their bath, while at the same time take everything out of their terrariums, wash everything down in hot water, disinfect everything, and then scrub out their terrariums. And then by doing so, you might eliminate 99.9% of the parasite problem. Make sure that there are no parasites when you put their belongings back into their terrarium. And then finally, when the bearded dragon is finished with their bath, look them over and make sure that all of the parasites are off of their bodies. And then place them back in the terrarium and see how their attitude is after they've been through the bath. There are other ways and other reasons why bearded dragons are so hyper, but those are the main ones you need to watch out for. If you ever do suspect that your bearded dragon is going through some painful internal problems and you cannot detect them from the outside, always remember the number to your veterinarian, one who specializes in exotic pets, and make sure that they specialize in exotic pets. You have to call around, you have to make sure they do. And if you find one, note the number of that veterinarian and take your bearded dragon to see the vet. If you are unsure of their feelings, if you're unsure of their behaviors, they could be telling you something like, hey, I'm hurting, I need to go to the doctor. So by all means, give them a checkup. Bearded dragons should always have a yearly checkup with your veterinarian. So never forget that. It could be due in time for a veterinarian checkup. I mean, not you particularly. No, you're not showing any signs of pain or anything like that. But it's still a good customary cycle to take them in at least once a year for checkups. Even if they don't show any signs, you definitely want to make sure that everything is hunky-dory with your beautiful bearded dragon, because they are very amazing and remarkable pets. You do want to do what you can to take care of them as best as you can. And if you can't, then by all means find somebody who is trained, that is knowledgeable, that can take care of your pet if you cannot. Because we're talking about the life of a bearded dragon, and one who deserves to have the happiest life ever. Isn't that right, baby? Isn't that right, Bowsie girl? Yeah. And now for a little anecdote. Speaking about glass surfing, I recall one time when Bowsie was first glass surfing, and she was everywhere. I was, having not been around this before. Okay, I'm sorry, Bowsie. I know you wanted to cuddle with me. I'm sorry. I picked you up when you wanted to cuddle. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Daddy. Sorry. I thought maybe you wanted to be carried. No, I just want to cuddle. Sometimes I have to verify with my bearded dragon what she's feeling and what she wants, and she definitely wants cuddles, so she gets cuddles. Yeah, she knows when she wants to be cuddled and when she wants to be held, and right now is not her holding time. Right now is cuddle time. But anyway, back to what I was saying. The anecdote about the first time Bowsie started glass surfing, she was pretty young. She was I'd say about this long from nose to tail. She was very teeny tiny, and she was just a little baby. But she had a lot of energy, and she always had energy. She was very fast. She ran fast. And I've always kept a good eye on her in case she went somewhere where she wasn't supposed to go, and I would always constantly drag her back. That soft pillow that I have back there, her favorite pillow, is the only thing that seemed to have pacified her in her younger years, and she loved that pillow. Once she got on it, she's like, ooh, soft, I'm comfy, I'm not moving for anyone. But that doesn't go, that's far cry from what she was when she was hyper. And the first time she glass surfed, she went from one side of the terrarium to the other side of the terrarium, all the way around, back again. I finally took her out, and she looks up at me with these eyes like, what? So I took her out, and she sat on my finger for a while, and she kind of did the lick thing and looked up at me, and sometimes she would gape. And then she would run up my arm, and I would have to grab her before she jumped off of my hand and onto the couch. And then she would climb up here, run up here, down my arm again. And it was like a constant cycle, but she eventually wore herself out. And I was able to put her back in her terrarium after she's burnt out all that energy. And wouldn't you know it, I look at her and I watch her for like the first 5 minutes, and she's looking up at me. 5 minutes go by, I turn around to go into the kitchen for something. I come back out, and she's glass surfing again. I'm like, Bowsie, you just got put back in there. Don't tell me you want back out again. So I took her out, held her for some more. She ran around some more. And then I thought, well, okay, she's wore herself out by now. Put her back into her terrarium. 5 minutes later, she's running around again, doing glass surfing. I'm like, Bowsie, you are wearing me out. And that's what sometimes they can do. They can wear you out. They can and will wear you out. And they're little teeny tiny critters too, and they will wear you out. Make no mistake about that. So when you get a bearded dragon, definitely know that you are in for a lot of energy when they do their glass surfing. It doesn't always mean that they're always going to stay hyper. They just have a lot of hyper cycles, and a lot of them happen right after brumation too, so be on the lookout for that. If they come out of brumation, expect glass surfing. Bearded dragons will also glass surf if their terrariums smell bad or look bad or need cleaning. Definitely look at the condition of your bearded dragon's enclosure. If they're doing this, that usually would mean if they're far from brumation and nothing else is ailing them. But if they're doing this all of a sudden, you might want to check for fecal matter, because bearded dragons, like humans, don't want to be near their own stink. I mean, I'm sure you don't want to be near it. I don't want to be near it. That's why we have toilets to flush that away. But bearded dragons don't have that luxury. They don't have that ability. So if they happen to pass a number 2 or pass some stool inside their enclosures, they don't want to be trapped inside with a horrid smell. And it might not smell much to you or me. In most cases it doesn't smell, but to them it smells about as bad as yours or mine does. So get them out of there, clean them up, give them a bath, and while you're doing that, pick up the fecal matter, and while you're at it, scrub out the terrarium. That's probably a key point too. If they ever do pass a number 2 in their enclosures, take that time to scrub their terrariums. Even if you've just scrubbed it, you at least scrub that area and anything around the pile that you need to clean. That also goes for their husbandry. If you're using a flat husbandry like carpet, or like I'm using shelf liner, or if you're using newspaper, remove the old, replace it with new. That's so plain and simple, all you got to do. And that's how you spot clean. If you've just cleaned your terrarium and you don't want to clean the whole thing all over again, it's not been nearly a month yet, then that is a good idea to do. I mean, especially if they've just passed a stool and they are smelling it and they don't want to be near it, that's understandable. But anyway, so that's one of the things I wanted to touch on, the subject of glass surfing, because I get constant questions about this all the time. I say, my bearded dragon's going crazy, help! And I'm like, that's what we call glass surfing. So now you know why they glass surf and what to look out for when they do it. So first things first. Glass surfing, if your bearded dragon is doing it, make yourself a checklist in your mind. Are they coming out of brumation? If they are, chances are that's their energy they need to burn off after hibernation, or brumation is what we call it. Number 2, check for injuries. They could be hurting in some way, and they are trying to get out to tell you, I'm hurt. Look for signs of bones breaking, limbs breaking. Look for signs of limping. Look for signs of parasites. Look for anything that don't seem normal. If you don't find anything and they're still glass surfing and they still are breathing heavily and they're opening their mouths a lot, take them to the veterinary and have them checked out. They could be doing respiratory problems. There could be something problematic with their respiratory system. So take them to the veterinarian if you're not sure. Thirdly, bearded dragons may have defecated inside their enclosure, and just be on the lookout for that. And then once you do find it, if you do find it, take the bearded dragon out, clean them off, and while you're at it, scrub the terrarium. So that's all about what makes the bearded dragons want to glass surf. There are other reasons too, but there's tons and tons of reasons why they do it, and those are the main ones that you will focus on. They could be doing it because they're born hyper and they just have a lot of energy to burn off and they just can't burn it off fast enough. That could be a case too, but it's very rare in bearded dragons. Because if they do this, then they'll do this at the daytime, at the nighttime, overnight. If you ever have a bearded dragon that glass surfs overnight when they're supposed to be sleeping, then there's a problem. If they've known to been doing this before every single day or every other day, that's kind of rare to happen, but it can and will happen to a rare birth or bearded dragon birthing. It's not going to be very common in most bearded dragons, but it can happen to some. Just note the telltale signs, and always remember the number of your veterinarian, one who specializes in exotic pets. And they will tell you exactly what's wrong with your bearded dragon. They have tools and implements to look inside and see if everything on the inside is okay. And that's about it. So, fortunately, Bowsie hasn't done much glass surfing lately, and everything with Bowsie is very normal. And as a matter of fact, Bowsie's got a heck of a grip. And so I've been I know you wanted to cuddle. That's why you would have been gripping so hard, huh? But yeah, if bearded dragons use a strong grip, it means that they don't want to be picked up or they don't want to be removed from whatever it is they're gripping. But sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes it's time for Betty Bye, and you cannot escape Betty time. You can't escape Betty Bye time. You're such a beautiful girl. Is Bowsie happy? Are you happy? Well, we got to say goodbye to everybody. Is everybody ready to say? Are you ready to say goodbye, Bowsie? Ready to say bye-bye? Here. Come here, baby. Come here, baby. Yes, always practice proper handling of your bearded dragon. Always support underneath, never the sides, and never the tail. Always hold them from underneath. Are you ready, Bowsie? Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye. Say bye-bye. Can you give everybody a nice gape? Gape? Are you happy? Bowsie, a happy girl? Yes, you are happy. Good girl. That's a good girl. Yes, you are happy. So Bowsie is very happy. And very happy to see all of you out there. So subscribe, like this video, tell a friend about it. If you're a bearded dragon enthusiast, tell your friends about it too. And also, if you're thinking about taking on the responsibility of owning a bearded dragon as a pet, please subscribe to my channel. I will help you. I may be busy most of the time, but I will help you. If you're looking for advice or questions about bearded dragon behavior and care, talk to me. I want to hear from you. So, on behalf of Bowsie's Vlogs, this is Sonic Blue and a very happy Bowsie girl. Yes, you are happy. You are very happy. Yes, you are. You're happy and you show it, don't you, baby? And it's about time for Bowsie's bedtime, but hopefully this video has explained in the basics of why your bearded dragon will tend to glass surf. And if you are thinking about owning a bearded dragon, they are very wonderful, miraculous creatures. They will keep you happy, and they will keep you young, and they will keep you very content in at least 11 to 14 years of your life. And hopefully you have a bearded dragon that lasts about 11 to 14 years. Even though their average lifestyle or life longevity is 10 years, but sometimes they can last longer than 10. Isn't that right, baby? Bowsie's 4 years old. You're getting up there. You're going to be a middle-aged dragon next year. You're going to be middle-aged. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe she might not like the sound of that. No, you're getting older, huh? You're getting older. You're getting bigger. Well, you're already getting as big as you could. Can you give me another gape? Bowsie happy? Happy? She almost did it. Kiss, kiss. Bowsie happy? Happy? Here she goes. And 1, 2, 3. Good girl. This is Bowsie's Vlogs. Bowsie and Sonic Blue. Like this video, subscribe to it. Bowsie would love you for it. She would be very happy if you subscribed. Look at this happy face. Look at that happy bearded dragon. So, like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time for Bowsie's Vlogs. Until then, take care of that bearded dragon of yours. Or if you don't have a bearded dragon yet, this will help you. This will help you a lot in getting the information you need to raise one of your own. Say goodbye, everyone. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Bowsie. Take care, everyone.